Okay, so I have always wanted a me doll, and this was supposed to be March's doll upload, since that's my birthday month. But between going on vacation for a week, all the crazy things that have been going on in the world, and being sick for a couple weeks besides, it didn't get it done in time. That's why my videos are a little late from this weekend. I didn't have it done in time to upload on Saturday. Anyway, so here I have a Clawdeen Wolf. I was a little on the fence if I should use Clawdeen or Cleo Denial since my skin color is sort of between them, but this is what we landed on. So start off with removing the factory face with some acetone. I like to use a pair of tweezers to really dig the tissue into the crevices to get the paint out, before cutting off all the hair since unfortunately mine's not purple. And then put her head in a cup and pour boiling water over her to soften the vinyl and pull the head off. And if you're sick like I was when I was filming this, use the leftover water to fill the ridiculously oversized teacup you're using to prop the doll up so you can have some tea and hopefully stop coughing your brains out. Once that's done, grab some pliers or long tweezers or a crochet hook or whatever, shove it in the neck hole, and drag it around on the inside of the doll's head to pull out the remaining plugs of hair. The more change you pull out, the higher your score. I try and break my record with every doll I make. Don't look at me like that, I'm not a crazy person. After the plugs are out, you can use more acetone to take off the scalp paint, since again, we aren't using purple hair, so no need for a purple head. Oh, and I cut off the ears, since I don't have those on top of my head. Okay, let's turn our attention to the body. I will be the first to admit that I do not have the figure of a Monster High doll. I'm pretty sure no one does, but shh, that's fine, it's beside the point, shh. I figured that since it's pretty different from my actual body shape, I would try to at least make this doll look a little closer to me. So here I'm harnessing the mystical power of 2-part epoxy sculpt to aid in my quest for, well, not realism. This is a doll. Semi-realism? Accuracy? Closer to accuracy? Whatever, I'm making her thick with several C's wherever I think it's necessary. Testing joints and movement to make sure that none of the additions impede posing and movement as I go. Epoxy sculpt has a pretty long curing time, and I like to blob it in basic shapes first, then let it dry a little. In the most awkward position possible, apparently. Anyway, and after it's set for an hour or so, go in and do some better shaping and blending, especially on the transitions between the epoxy clay and the plastic. A good tip is to use a little water on your fingers to help smooth things out a bit. And then wait for it to cure completely. I usually give it a day, and then I come in with my Dremel tool and add in details like the doll's belly button, and to sand and smooth things out a little more. While sanding, I wear my respirator because I don't want to breathe in any weird dust. Once that's done, which takes a way longer time than video magic makes it seem, let me tell you, I take her to be airbrushed. First, I add a surface primer to help it bond to the plastic more. And then I try to mix a skin color using my Schmincke Aero colors. Here I added some transparent white to burnt sienna. However, it turned out really red for some reason, like way more red than I thought it would. I definitely needed an earthy yellow, like a yellow ochre, to tone down that red undertone, but I don't have it in my limited collection. I only buy them as I need them, and I didn't think I'd need yellow, so I got a reasonably uniform color, but you can see that it's a way too red color that I really couldn't fix. So I had to resort to soft pastels in order to alter the color a little. This is a mixture of yellow ochre and gold ochre from my Rembrandt soft pastel set, and I'm using a fluffy paintbrush to apply them to the body. After each layer, I sprayed the body with Mr. Super Clear to seal in the pastel before adding a new layer. This is 1 layer, 2, 3 layers, then 4, 5, and then a 6th. And I did do one more after that I didn't film, so 7 layers total. Wow, I didn't realize how many it was while I was doing it. Honestly, it probably could have used another layer or two, but I was getting very sick of waiting the half an hour between layers, so I stopped there. I started with my Rembrandt soft pastels to blush the face a little bit and add in the shapes of the eyebrows. I couldn't find my kneaded eraser for some reason, so I used my high polymer plastic eraser to help shape them, which didn't work as well as a kneaded eraser, but it did do the job better than I thought it would. Next I came in with Prismacolor watercolor pencils and roughed in the shapes of her face some more. Then we move on to acrylic paint. Now I don't usually wear makeup unless I'm going somewhere or doing something very special, but this face-up was sort of really boring with the sort of neutral brown color palette. So I added this lip color because when I do wear lipstick, it's usually a color like this. And I added eyeliner even though I usually only wear mascara if I put anything on my eyes, but so yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is this doll has a much more made up face than I usually have. However, I did also add a little, I guess it's a beauty mark that I do really have on my cheek. Though as I'm recording this, I'm realizing now that my mark is actually on my right cheek, so fail there. Okay, so onto the hair. I'm making a wig, which is a happy coincidence since the doll doesn't have normal ears, and the wig should sit more nicely on the head, or at least it should according to Delightful. On that note, yarn wefts. I used a mix of black and brown since my hair isn't really one or the other. I tied them to the handle of a paintbrush, brushed them out with a pet brush, flat ironed them, cut them off of it, and then used glue to make it into wefts. While those were drying, I started on the wig cap. First I covered the doll's head in cling wrap to protect it from the glue, and then I rubber banded a piece of muslin fabric in place. Stretch fabric would have been better here since it would have been easier to get all the wrinkles out of it, and there definitely were still a few, but I didn't have any, so work with what you got. Also, I learned later that using black or dark brown fabric would have been a way better choice. So yeah, messing up left and right on this. I painted on layers of white Elmer's glue all, letting them dry for an hour or two in between. I think I did 4 coats total. Once it was nice and solid, I trimmed it down close to where I wanted it to end up before putting it back on the doll without the cling wrap, and marked with a marker about where the doll's hairline actually is. Cutting the shape according to this line, I was then ready to add the wefts. Peeling them off the plastic I'd glued them to in order to dry, I trimmed them down before starting to glue the wefts around the wig cap in a spiral. I'm putting the hair in a high bun style since that is how I usually wear my hair, hence why my avatar has hair like that. So there's no part to worry about and no bangs. I'm not really great at wigs, I need a lot more practice, so when I was done it looked kind of a hot mess. However, it also looks a lot like my hair. Make of that what you will. I decided after I was done to cut the glue band off of a couple of very small wefts I had left over and glued them inside the wig cap for baby hairs. I would have done this first, but I didn't think I wanted them. However, it really adds to the realism and I do have a lot of flyaways all the time, so hooray for more accuracy. Then I pulled the hair up into a ponytail with a very skinny hair elastic since I couldn't find my small clear hair elastics, and I twisted the ponytail before wrapping it around in a sort of space bun shape. I used Mazekito's tutorial for space buns I'll link it up in the iCard. Lastly, for this wig, since I used a fabric for the cap that was so different from the skin tone and hair color, I went in with black acrylic paint and just dabbed some along the edges where you could see the fabric to make it less noticeable. This was a problem because I didn't get the glue close enough to the edge of the wig cap, I think. I'll have to remember for next time to do a better job covering the actual cap. And then this probably wouldn't be necessary. This video is getting pretty long, so I won't go into how I made the clothes. It's just a standard orange t-shirt and black pants that my avatar usually wears. It's nothing innovative, and it was a really quick, easy pattern to draft for the custom body shape. But I guess if you want a tutorial on how to draft clothes, I can show you that. Let me know in the comments. But otherwise, yeah, she's done. So yeah, it's a me doll. I'm kind of an introvert in real life, so maybe let's not focus on me too much. I usually wear glasses too, so I'll figure out how to make those in a future video maybe. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. I hope you liked this video. Right now I don't have a doll planned for April, sorry. Instead, I'm collecting supplies to hopefully do a huge sealant comparison. So stay tuned for that at the end of the month, or maybe the beginning of next month, depending on shipping and all that. So if you're excited for that video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post new videos. Like if you like me, or doll me, I guess. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye!